Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Morning Show with your hosts, Wayne and Gabby.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Canadian real estate investors, and welcome to the Canadian Real Estate Investing Morning Show. On today's show, we're going to be diving into some listener questions that were emailed in. We have a listener that wants to talk about condo document reviews, reserve fund studies, special assessments, condo fees. The question is revolving around how much strength or how much value do you put in a condo doc review and the reserve fund to determine whether you should buy this property or not. So this listener is purchasing a property right now. They got it under contract. They got the condo docs, and they want to know a little bit more about how to go through this and if we've ever been burned by this kind of type of stuff. So we're going to cover that.
Awesome.
Additionally, in a completely different direction, another listener, new investor, asked, what's better in a basement suite? 2 bedrooms or 1 bedroom, but making the basement a little bit more spacious? So we're going to be talking about that as well, the pros and cons of both of those. Very exciting stuff. Apologies for missing yesterday's show.
Yes, apologies for missing yesterday's show. Sorry. I thought you were going to continue on.
Do you need this? Because I can put that away if you don't want to use it.
Yes. Sorry, guys, that we missed yesterday's show. But Kristen says, hope that we had an enjoyable and restful day. We certainly tried to, yes. We had a stressful day on, I guess, what day is it today? I guess Monday. Just lots going on, lots happening, took a toll on us. And then also Everly and I went out to the soccer game that night. So just everything all together, we're like, you know what? We need a rest day.
Yeah.
And we took it. And thank you guys for allowing us that rest day.
Yeah, the cool part is that you guys can't say anything because you don't pay us. This is a free show, so if I want to take a day off, I'm going to take it off. We don't take days off very often, though. It's very actually, to be honest with you, I think that the only time we ever take days off is when we're sick, and even a lot of times when you've been sick, I still do the show.
Yeah, that's true.
So we rarely take days off, but
sometimes travel days. Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately. It was just a little bit too much, so we decided, you know what, we're going to take the morning, we're going to sleep in a little bit. Yeah. And we thank you for allowing us to do that, yes. Even though you don't pay us.
I have to say, though, today and like last night kind of felt like a Sunday night because there was no podcast. So I was like, okay, this week might feel shorter now. Yeah,
maybe it will. Maybe it will. It doesn't mean that the workload has decreased at all. And by golly, holy moly, has there been a lot of rain in Alberta?
Yes.
My goodness, the weather has been absolutely crazy in Alberta. It's been keeping us on our toes and keeping us very, very busy, which we're going to talk about in a minute here, because all of this accumulation of rain and water has led to some pretty high-risk situations if you own real estate. A lot of our properties, we've been dealing with, a lot of puddling and a lot of pooling, and thankfully, we're very proactive about how to handle all this rain. But even under all of this stress and extra water that we've been receiving, it's been a hassle. So the weather in Alberta has been... Yeah, you can come over here, weather girl. Sorry, I've been waiting for you. The weather has been absolutely crazy, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But what's the weather looking like here in Edmonton and across Canada this week or today?
The weather today will be 17 degrees in Edmonton, 17 degrees in Vancouver, 17 degrees in Winnipeg, 18 degrees in Hamilton, and 18 degrees in Halifax.
So pretty much...
Straight across. Yeah,
the same
thank you, Abby.
Across Canada.
Yeah.
Do we have any rain for today? I thought you were going to give me a little bit of a rain forecast.
Well, she's got a whole bunch of cities to do.
She says no.
Okay, no rain. At least in Edmonton?
She says no rain in Edmonton.
That's crazy. I mean, there's so much rain in the forecast. It's wild, like for the next week even. But that's good to know. No rain today. We have a little bit of a reprieve, so that's awesome. We have Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments here. I need to pick it up because my eyes are a little bit fuzzy this morning. Kristen says, I thought yesterday was Sunday too. Okay, not just us. Kyla.
Showed up to church by accident. I was like, oh, where is everybody?
Okay, I'm not sure what Kyla says. Oh, okay, yesterday Kyla was like, refresh. What's going on? It's 7:10. And then she realized that it was a day off. Sorry, Kyla.
Yeah, I got quite a few messages from people being like, yo, your link's not working.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. We tried to notify you the best way that we could, but yeah, apologies. And Kirsten said, found a leak in the basement of one of my new purchases. Went into the wall, and thankfully it's an easy fix.
Oof.
That's good.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. Glad that it's an easy fix. Yeah, we had a few rain issues, nothing major as well, which is nice. But what are you doing?
You can't hear you. You're not speaking in your microphone.
We didn't throw it at me. Almost knocked me in the head.
Sorry about that.
Jeez. We had a few rain issues over the last few days, but nothing crazy. It was all totally manageable. We had one, the rain cap over the bathroom fan vent on the exterior was missing. And so we had basically water just like dripping in from the fan into the bathroom of one of our properties. So
normally that wouldn't be a big deal, but just the amount of water ended up creating a little puddle in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Had a new tenant moving in, and then they're like, I didn't know that we had another shower here.
Second shower in the same bathroom.
Yeah. But thankfully they got on that pretty quick and got it all resolved. I'm just glad that it wasn't a roof issue.
Yes, exactly.
That's when you get a message saying that, hey, tenants just moved in, but there's a pool in the bathroom. Like, oh shit, like, roof issue. Now we're going to be dealing with that. And, we were a little bit scared about that, but, that happened on, Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the many things that we dealt with on Monday night. And it was like, God damn. So you had just got to the soccer game and I was dealing with other things. And then as I'm driving, I get that message as well. And I'm like, for crying out loud, can you just give me a break?
Yeah. Yeah, but I had actually, I had sent out an email to all of our tenants. I can't remember what night it was, but it was like
Sunday, I think.
Sunday night. Okay, yeah, it was like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 p.m. And we were like, shoot, like we really should have like notified our tenants of a few things to look out for. So right before bed, sending out a mass email. Yeah. Just like asking them to make sure all the windows are closed, that, check that all the downspouts are in the down positions, like all the things, make sure there's no water pooling, notify us right away if there's any, water either pooling or in the basement or whatever it may be. So yeah, once we sent that out, we actually had quite a few tenants actually respond and say, hey, I just did a perimeter walk. There's this one downspout that maybe needs to be extended. So we had a few of our downspouts extended the next day, which was great. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. And I'm negotiating on a bunch of different properties as well that we have under contract. So it was a good opportunity for me to, one of which that we ended up extending the conditions to today. I actually requested to go down to that property again during the rain because after I got my home inspection report, there was a bunch of not questionable things, but like there was a few areas of concern around grading. And this was and also that the gutters were needed some work. And so this is my opportunity during a heavy downpour to be going down there to see, okay.
Perfect opportunity.
Are the gutters properly working? Are the downspouts going far enough away from the house, or is there any pooling? Is there any, water buildup at the side of the house where the grading isn't as good? And so I went out in the rain with a realtor and walked the perimeter of the property, checked the basement. The perimeter of the property was actually, I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, it was actually good. I was actually quite surprised. We are going to need to do some work long-term or in the midterm, but at least I know that probably the heaviest rainfall that we're going to get this year was no match for it. So that made me feel confident enough to know that, okay, cool, this is something that we can deal with over time. It's not a huge priority thing. It's also not not something that like, is this a big issue that needs to be, maybe we need to reduce the price, or maybe I need to look into some other solutions for water diversion.
Yeah.
So I was really happy to see that the gutters were all working. There's a few areas where like it could have been extended a little bit further, like you were saying, get some extensions on the downspouts, but otherwise all was good, no leaks. So I was pretty happy with that.
Nice.
And then so I was able to kind of remove that from my negotiations, and then just focus on the other things. There is a roof that needs to be replaced. There is a few other deficiencies within the property, electrical, plumbing stuff that need to be addressed. So there's about $15,000 worth of work that we're going to need to do as soon as we buy the property. So we need to take all that into consideration. And so we sent back our counter, and waiting to hear back from the seller. Hopefully we can come up with a solution, or they can just repair the items. But that's what I'm going to be working on today.
Nice, yeah.
One of the things I'll be working on today.
Yeah, it looks like Kyla also says that they had a window leak, but was an easy fix, thankfully, and bless this rain. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need the rain, so we're happy it's here. You just always need to be proactive in making sure that your properties are going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard too many crazy stories yet.
No, I haven't either. And I think, Kristen says heaviest rain of the year, so far, ... Which is true. It's nice when the rain is just kind of like, yes, it's a lot of rain, but it's like steady and like throughout a longer period of time versus like those flash crazy rainstorms that we get, which is when you start to see more problems because the systems just can't handle the amount all at once.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, but fingers crossed, knock on wood, everything's good, everything's fine. Everybody's properties are going to be fine.
Yeah, we and it sounds like we got no rain today, so we get a little bit of a break, and
yes. Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that.
So are the dogs.
What's that?
So are the dogs.
Yeah, they've been stuck inside, eh?
Yeah.
But another thing, obviously, we took yesterday off, so we didn't really get a chance to share this with everyone on the podcast, that we removed conditions on another rental property as well.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. A nice, easy turnkey one. I say turnkey, but we're going to do a little bit of work to it.
Some plumbing repairs?
No, that's another one.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait, no.
No, I think I'm
right.
right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes,
you're right. I'm thinking about the wrong one.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There's a lot going on. Yes, there are plumbing repairs. I was thinking about another property. Okay. Yes, now I was thinking about the wrong property. Plumbing repairs, yes. There's about a half to a day's worth work. There's about a half a day's
I'd say a day. There's a day's worth of work. Is
that correct? Did I say that right? Jeez, that was difficult. For the plumber's going to have to come in and just basically every plumbing connection was leaking. And a lot of people would be like, that's terrifying.
Every single connection was leaking?
Every single connection. I'm talking the humidifier, the washing machine, the hot water tank, the kitchen sink, the downstairs bathroom sink, the upstairs bathroom sink, the toilet, the shower head. Did I miss anything?
Oh my gosh.
Literally everything. Literally every single. And I think that the outside hose bib was okay. I think that the hose bib was okay. But otherwise, there was just water leaks on everything. Now, a lot of people might be scared by something like that, but I'm just like, no, it's a day's worth of work for a plumber to go in there. He's going to have to, maybe replace a seal or replace the whole faucet, and maybe it's the drain pipe needs to be replaced, or perhaps maybe the supply line needs to be tightened, or the flexible hose needs to be replaced. But I mean, it's just labor. So, what's the labor? 4 to 8 hours at $100 an hour. So what are we looking at? $400 to $800 worth of labor, and then parts. So all in all, we're looking at maybe $1,000 to $1,500, but we were able to negotiate $3,000 off the price.
Yeah.
So we're able to get a deal, made a little bit of money off of it. When we get possession, we call up the plumber. I'm going to give him the paperwork from the home inspection, and he can literally take that and just go to work and then send us a bill. You know what I mean? It's not that much work. And so I love it when I find things like that, because I know that so many people will be scared of stuff like that they think the whole house is gonna get flooded, and so they'll walk away from a deal like that. For me, I'm just and I can leverage that because I know a seller is going to be dealing with people like if they know that if I walk away from this deal, the next home buyer that comes along
find the same thing.
is gonna blow it out of proportion. Like it's gonna make it seem way bigger than what it actually is. So sometimes it's just easier just to be like, okay, yeah, sure, here, you do it. Right. And my original offer was that you take care of it all at cost. You know what I mean? And you could save yourself quite a bit and then I don't have to deal with anything. But they said, no, how much do you want to take off? So I think I said 5 and then we landed at 3,000.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
So pretty sweet. Now, once that work is done, now that I know which property I'm actually talking about, that property is actually turnkey, completely turnkey, ready to go. It's bigger. It's about 20% bigger than the other townhouses that we normally buy in Edmonton.
Yeah, families are gonna love it. It's in a great location, and it's the one we were talking about last week that backs right onto like a field and a baseball diamond and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, anyone with kids is gonna just love being able to have that as their backyard, right? Mm. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. I'm excited to advertise that one and get it filled.
Yeah. Maybe we can get some extra viewings before we take possession. I think we take possession June 30th, so in about a month from now. I'm going to see if I can get some extra viewings in there, maybe do some, show it to some potential tenants before. Maybe we can line it up where we can get someone to move in right away. Yeah. We do need to do a little bit of plumbing work, but I think that they can kind of do that around them.
Yeah, totally.
Shouldn't be a big deal. But on the topic of townhouses, condo townhouses, it is arguably one of the best opportunities for investments in Canada right now. We talked about this recently. We had a whole podcast on it, talking about how the numbers are the best. Edmonton townhouses and Edmonton garden suites, numero 1 and number 2, best opportunities in Canada right now. Isn't that so sweet that we just say that?
Give it away.
We just give it all away for free. We literally tell you exactly. Like, there's another question that's going to be coming up for tomorrow. Just side note. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but like, there's another question for tomorrow's episode where someone says, I'm this year's old. I have this job. I make this much money. What should I do? What should I buy? Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to tell them is to listen to yesterday's episode. Right at the 19-minute mark, I literally told you the best 2 opportunities in Canada right now. There is nothing better. Feel free to send me an email and send me your numbers on the deals that you're doing. But I promise you, right? I promise you. No one ever has, by the way, because they know that I know my numbers and I know the opportunities in Canada. These are the 2 best opportunities in Canada. I just think it's so cool that we just share it like that. And it's so easy for people just to jump on it.
Yeah.
Anyways, the listener who has a question today about condo docs review and reserve funds. This is something that I just went through and I just had to do for this property. And it turns out that I found a condo corporation that was extremely well managed after I reviewed the documents. A very well established condo corp with a terrific reserve fund. But, not every condo corporation or condo complex is like that. In fact, more of them are not good than there are good. More of them do not have sufficient money in their reserve funds. They are not the best complexes that you want to be buying an investment property in because they're not as friendly for for landlords. And so your diligence, the due diligence you do on a condo townhouse before you buy it is so incredibly important. So when we come back from the break, we're going to be diving into this listener's question as they buy their first investment property, and hopefully give them some insights and some tips and tricks on how to properly go through those documents and why it's so important for investors before they purchase a condo. We'll get right into that when we come back.
Real estate investors need to treat debt differently than homeowners, and at Kirkland & Brennan Mortgage Group, we understand that. For the last 11 years, we've helped real estate investors plan and build their portfolios. We understand how to help you avoid fees, penalties, getting yourself stuck, and making sure that the deal you're doing today doesn't stop the deal you want to do tomorrow. You can reach out to Keaton, Keaton, at kbmortgages.ca. Put plan on the subject line, and we'll help you build a plan and then realize it for your real estate goals. We also coordinate with the other professionals like your accountant, lawyer, realtor, and we will help you build your portfolio. So reach out. We'll do our best to help. Thanks, guys.
You've got showings, lease signings, suite renos, condo board meetings, credit checks, mortgage financing, and every so often the tenant clogs the sink because they shoved macaroni down there. Stop. Breathe. Leave the bookkeeping to Fingo. Fingo is specialized real estate bookkeeping by real estate investors with tailored services for maximum returns. Save time. Enhance your returns. Claim the plumbing repair for that ridiculous macaroni fiasco. Book your free consultation at fingo.com.
Summer. While everyone's getting distracted, this is when the market gets quiet. Not because the opportunities disappear, but because the people do. Vacations, long weekends, these are the distractions I'm talking about. And that's exactly when serious investors make their moves. At Calvin Realty, this is one of our favorite windows. Less competition, more flexibility, and sellers who are actually open to negotiating. While everyone else is stepping away, we're stepping in. If you're looking to buy right, not just buy fast, this is your edge. Calvin Realty. Opportunity doesn't take time off.
Okay, so you are a real estate investor and you are looking at buying a condo townhouse. Before you do that, it is so incredibly important that you do your proper due diligence on the complex, on the condo corporation first. This is, I would say, more important. The diligence on a condo corporation is way more important than the diligence on any other property, because there is so much, it's buying the wrong condo in the wrong complex can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. I'm not exaggerating. It can cost you tens of thousands of dollars if you do not properly investigate to make sure that you're buying the right one. So we have a investor listener that sent us in an email for a question. They are buying their very first investment property. They took our advice and they decided to buy a condo townhouse in Edmonton, Alberta. But they just got the condo documents and now they're starting to ask questions about, hey, how does this work? How does that work? So, Gabby, why don't you dive into the email and go through these questions, and we can kind of try and dissect how to go about answering them for him.
Absolutely. So the first question that the listener wants to know is, how much value do you put on the strength of the reserve fund and condo corporation when investing in a townhouse? Wayne, do you want to go just question by question?
Let's go question by question. Okay. I think it would be better.
Okay, so how much strength do you put into the
reserve
fund?
How much value?
Yeah.
How much value? Okay, let's do it. Let's break it down by like a percentage. Okay. Because let's break down because I measure everything by value. Everything in business and in life. Whether I decided to wake up this morning and do this show, I measured it by the value that I get from this. So let's look at the value of a condo townhouse in Edmonton. Arguably in the top 2 best real estate investing opportunities in Canada. So obviously it's very valuable because you're going to get great returns. Okay. Now, from a due diligence perspective, well, how do I break this down? I'd say when you're analyzing the property, when you're assessing it from a due diligence perspective, I would say there's a lot of value in the numbers. There's a lot of value in how well this performs as a rental property. All right. So we'll start off with that. There's a lot of value in how much money it's going to make. So when you're assessing this deal, you want to, and you're underwriting it, you want to make sure that it's a property that's going to make lots of money, right? And so that makes up a lot of value of it because you're going to be investing into this. You want to make sure that you're getting a good return on your investment. You also want to know that there's some value in the appreciation potential for this property. So not only is it a property that's in a good area that has strong potential for rents, that's going to be profitable, you also want to make sure that the value of the actual asset will go up over time as well. So there's value in that as well.
Right.
And then let's just start with those two. Like if you had those two and there's like, yeah, it's an amazing rental property, it's an amazing area, and there's strong potential for appreciation because it's highly sought after, it's in demand, investors want to buy it, home buyers want to buy it, it's perfect for everybody, this is the property I want to buy. All of that can go to shit if the condo corporation isn't managing it properly.
Right.
You can have a property that is extremely profitable on the rental business side and has strong potential for appreciation. However, it's got terrible condo fees, it's got terrible condo rules in the bylaws, and also the reserve fund is not sufficient, and there's going to be a need for some top-ups here in the near future. So let's just keep it to the three then. Appreciation, rental property, business potential, profits, and the condo corporation and the reserve fund. What's the value of the reserve fund and the condo corp? I'd have to put it at more than 50%. Think about it like a shareholder. You know what I mean? If you own shares in a business, 51% gets you voting rights, right? If you got 51% of the shares, you vote whether it's going to actually pass or not. If it's 50-50, it has to be unanimous, right? Or less than 50%, the other side of it. But I'm telling you right now, if you got a great rent, like it's great for a rental and it's got great appreciation, and the fact that a condo corporation being shitty or the reserve fund being shitty can completely sideswipe, T-bone, and ruin that deal, then I would say that it's worth more than 50% of the value. Does that make sense? Did I explain that thoroughly enough?
So I think what you're saying is that you could have a home run investment property, super desirable, exactly what your tenant profile is looking for. The numbers work, the math works, it has so much potential, but you would easily walk away from it if it had a poor reserve fund or was poorly managed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Managed. Okay.
Yes. So I put a lot of value in it.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are more condos, townhouses that are bad. There are more condo corporations that are bad than there are that are good.
Yeah.
I don't have a percentage, and I can't say for every city, but at least for Edmonton, I'd say only 25% of them, max 25% of them are actually good. The other 75% are all shit. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, they're terrible and you shouldn't buy them, but I wouldn't buy them as an investment property.
Yeah.
I'd be okay to, like, if it were like, oh, you got to pay $5,000 in a few years for, you know, to contribute to the roof. And it's my home, yeah, like, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. If I'm planning on staying there a long time. But if this is an investment, I got to make sure that my profits are protected and the value is protected.
Right. And really, I think that what people need to know is that, like, you know, even if, so the math really works, this is a great property, on paper it looks really good, but then you have a poorly run, you know, complex where the reserve fund isn't where it needs to be and is not being managed well. What that means is that probably in the near future, when there may be an assessment or a cash call or like whatever it may be, or just like the condo fees are going to increase dramatically, all of a sudden your math isn't going to work anymore, right? So you need to be looking not just at the numbers right now, but the numbers in the future, and the reserve fund study and, you know, and dissecting your condo documents is what's going to tell you what the future holds for that complex.
Well, let me give you a real life story on this townhouse that I just removed conditions on, the one that we're excited for. Okay, this is interesting. When I went through the reserve fund, Went through the condo documents. What I found was that they attached the reserve fund study from 2015. Okay. Now,
That's a long time ago.
I'll let you in on a little secret here. As per the Condominium Act in Alberta, it is required by law that every condominium has a reserve fund study done once every 5 years. So when I first saw the 2015 one, I'm like, why did they attach this in here? I don't understand. And I had to go through, it's a lot of documents. It takes a while to kind of go through all the documents. And then as I kept sifting through the documents, I found one from 2026. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. This one was done in January, but it said draft on it. Okay. So they just recently done it and it wasn't completed yet. But they handed us the draft so that we could see the reserve fund study that was just recently done. They just haven't haven't finalized it and audited it yet. So, but I was wondering, why did they attach the 2015 one? And when I looked into it, I found out that they didn't do a reserve fund study in 2020 when they were supposed to by law. So what I did is I actually called up the management company that sent over the condo documents. And I asked them, I said, why? Can you tell me why you guys didn't do the reserve fund study in 2020 like you were supposed to? I'd already done a full analysis of everything. And based off of the reserve fund study for 2026 that I got, everything was fine. I went through all the financial statements. Everything was fine. But there was just that one thing there. It was really bugging me. I'm like, why didn't you guys do it in 2020?
Yeah, it's like, is this mismanagement? Does this show that you guys aren't doing what you're supposed to do? Right.
And what she answered was that we just took over and she has no idea why the previous management company didn't do it. She says, to my understanding, they just decided they didn't want to. It was like, damn. Had I tried to buy this a couple years ago, I probably would have said no, because like if they're not following the law, if they're not getting the reserve, why didn't they do it? You know what I mean? There's no reason not to. It seems like all the finances were all in order. Like after going through all the evidence, I mean, everything's been fine for a very long time. But the fact that they just neglected to do that was a sign or an indication of mismanagement. And now, thankfully, the new management company came in, and then they ordered
First
it
order
immediately.
of business.
First order of business. Let's check all these boxes off that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that was something interesting for me. So there you go. There's a great complex, really decent shape, lots of money, and everything else, and they weren't managing it properly. It's just one example of how not every condo corporation is managing it properly. So that was just one that we just dealt with recently.
Yeah. So the second question here was, have you ever been burned by condo fees jumping or a special assessment where you have to come out of pocket for a big expense like siding, roof, or windows?
No.
Nope.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
Are you saying you know of other people who have?
I know of lots of people who have. And do you want to know why they were quote unquote burned and I wasn't? Because I know how to properly analyze condo documents. And I could see problems coming from a mile away. Now, I've bought properties where I knew that a special assessment was coming. I've bought properties where I knew that the condo fees would be going up. See, I knew, and most people that were affected that weren't me didn't know.
Right.
And if you know how to properly analyze condo documents and review reserve fund studies and financial statements and meeting minutes, it's very easy to spot what's going on. It takes a little bit of time. It definitely takes experience and guidance. But with all the experience that I have, I can see what's happening in the financials very easily because I know how to read it. And it's kind of like, each of you all have your own craft or your own trade or your own, career. And in most cases, a lot of, you deal with some form of code. You know what I mean? Some code that was created by the government, that you have to follow. Code or, bylaws or rules. But everybody has something that they have to follow. And it's kind of sort of the same with condo documents. Once you understand how to read it, once you understand how to read code, or the code or know where to look, it's very easy. But for most people, they don't know. And this is why we hear so many bad stories about condos, is because people don't know how to properly assess it. and then they just go ahead and buy it. And then they something happens where it's like, the condo corporation says that there's going to be a $10,000 special assessment and everybody needs to pay. And they're like, how could this happen? This is a piece of shit condo. Well, no, I mean, it was always there. You just didn't know how to look for it.
Right.
Right. And had you done proper diligence, you probably could have seen it. You probably could have seen that there was going to be a shortfall in 2027 in the reserve fund. And this is why it's so incredibly important to get your condo documents reviewed by a condo doc review company. Okay, there are companies out there, you can pay them a few $100. They will review the documents for you. Some of those companies are good. Some of those companies are not so good. But at the end of the day, get someone to help you review it. Get them to go through the meeting minutes. Get them to go through the bylaws. Get them to go through the reserve fund study. Get them to go through the financial statements. And ask questions. Ask them, is there any shortfalls coming up? Is there any potential for condo fee increases? What is the projected condo fee increase every year for the next 5 years? All that stuff you can find within the documents if you know how to find it, right? Yeah. So no, we've never been burned. We've never, without knowing that it was coming.
I wanted to go back to that, Wayne, because you did say that we've bought properties where we knew a special assessment was coming, or we knew that fees were going to increase. And so I just wanted to touch on that because you kind of breezed over it, because a special assessment or increase in fees doesn't automatically say mismanagement or this is a crap complex, or it doesn't always mean that it's like the worst case scenario and avoid. Right. Sometimes there's just things happen that are uncontrollable, or sometimes it's, when you look at, if you've ever dive into a reserve fund study, you'll see that things are mapped out for 20 years?
25 or 30 years.
25 or 30 years in advance.
You can see every expense that's coming. Yeah. And they proactively plan for it.
And sometimes things are going to cost a little bit different than what was planned, or whatever it may be. But my point is that you can see it coming from a mile away in most circumstances. And so also increases in fees isn't a bad thing either. A, it should be keeping up with inflation, and B, it should be making sure that it's looking in advance and saying, okay, we're going to need a little top up in year 15 because we need to do a roof. So we're good for now, but on year 5, we're going to increase it by this much. It's all to manage all of the things that need to happen on a property. So it doesn't automatically mean that it's bad. It just lets you know in advance that this is what's happening, or this is what we need to deal with. Yeah. Does the math still work? Yeah. Right? It's just, does the math still work?
It's really that simple. It's just a management of the funds. And like Gabby said, sometimes some things cost a little bit more, or there's some surprises. Yeah. That
no different than owning a home.
That rain cap on top of our unit in the townhouse that was leaking down into the bathroom that we were talking to you about. That was something that was not expected. And so that means that they had to send someone down there, order that thing, get up on the roof and put it on there. I mean, how much is that actually going to cost? Not that much, maybe $50, $100, something like that. But that's money that they weren't expecting to have to spend. So that's going to deplete the reserve. And so that's why it's important that by law that the condo corporation gets a reserve fund study done every 5 years, is because they reassess all the financials. They reassess all the components, the building components. That need to be replaced and what condition that they're in, so that they can go and reassess, okay, we originally planned this much money over this much time, over the next 30 years, to make sure that we cover the replacement of the roof in 10 years, the replacement of the siding in 5 years, the replacement of the parking lot in 12 years, the replacement of the fence in 8 years, the replacement of the front steps in 17 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they map it all out.
Mailboxes, doors. Yeah.
But things happen, and sometimes maybe the fences got blown over by the tornado that came through, and it wasn't covered by insurance. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's lots of different things that can happen. So they go and they reassess, they audit what's going on, and they're like, okay, are we still on track? Well, the wood fencing is actually deteriorating significantly faster, so we're going to have to do it a little bit sooner. Or you can look at potentially painting it, which will extend the life of it. And then they make recommendations based off of that. And then they'll reassess, okay, how much do we have in the reserve fund? How much did we project that we were going to be taking from condo fees? And how much are we on track for now? And if it's not on track, and there's a potentially, they look and then they see 17 years from now in 2043, we're going to be crossing below the threshold of how much money we need in the reserve fund that year. Perhaps what we should do is we'll keep the condo fees as is, but in 2032, we're going to increase the condo fees by an additional 1% for 5 years. So the condo fees will go from $300 a month to $303, and then $306, and then $309, and then $312. And then that additional extra, they'll look and see, okay, if we do that between 2020, 32 and 2037, whatever, wherever I'm at, how does that change how much money we have in the reserve in 2043? Yeah. And then it looks and it corrected it. It's like, okay, perfect. That's all they do. They just kind of tweak things a little bit over time. But that's why you have to get it done every 5 years so you can audit to make sure that you're still on track. Yeah. If the funds are being managed properly and they're not spending money on things that don't need to be done, and things are getting repaired and taken care of and maintained properly so that they last their full life, and if they are collecting enough condo fees and setting them into the reserve and investing those condo fees as well, and making sure that they're getting, a little bit of investment returns to keep up with inflation. And if it's all being managed properly, there should always be enough in the reserve to cover all the potential maintenance, repairs, and replacements that are coming over the next 30 years. In a perfect world. But things happen. Sometimes catastrophic things like sewer lines crack and collapse, and then they need to replace the whole sewer line, which means they need to replace the parking lot sooner than what they were planning. And then they look at that, and now they don't have enough money in the reserve because they weren't planning on doing it for another 20 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that can happen. So it's not always necessarily mismanagement. Sometimes just bad things happen, and they need to correct it. And so they might need to tweak things a little bit. They're going to ask, hey, everybody, we need you all to pitch in $5,000 right now in order to fix this sewer line and repave the parking lot. However, this means that we're doing it 20 years sooner than what we are planning. So we had already planned to do the parking lot in 20 years from now. That means that we're going to have additional money 20 years from now. That means 20 years from now, the reserve fund is actually going to be more than is what is needed because we collected $5,000 from you today. So as long as you're planning on keeping this condo for a very long time, it all kind of balances out. I'm going super, super advanced and deep on this one.
You are.
And I told Gabby before the show, we're going to keep it super simple, but I always try and overcoach and overdeliver to you guys. If you understand it, it tends to make a lot of sense. That's why it's so fucking annoying watching people on the internet in groups and being like, don't do that. It's fucking stupid. Special assessments, condo fees. It's a fucking joke. That's clearly an ignorant moron. I repeat this a lot. I say this a lot, but I don't think people really truly understand the definition of ignorant, meaning that they choose to ignore. Right. You know what I mean? They could go and do their research. They could go and find the answers, but they choose not to because they are ignorant. Most people on the internet are ignorant and they just don't understand and they choose not to understand. I'm a little bit different. I seek to understand first, then to be understood. Okay? So, if you apply yourself, if you go and do your research on this and you learn the strategies and you learn how to properly do your diligence, it'll all make sense. And that's why I'm so hot and horny for townhouses, because there is a tremendous opportunity to rent them out in Edmonton. There is a tremendous opportunity for appreciation. And because the fact that I understand how to properly analyze them and assess them, I've got the three heads. Like, I've got it all figured out. I know that they're great. I know that there's lots of great appreciation, and I know how to find the best ones. This is the best investment opportunity for me possible. And I want to teach that to you guys, right? Yeah. Again, as long as you're not ignorant, as long as you're willing to be coached and taught, there's so much opportunity for you. Yeah. So this person, I actually, I talked to them, and I think they're going to be booking a coaching call because they want some help running the numbers on this. and they want some help to go over the condo documents. I will just say that I don't do condo doc review. Even our students in our mentorship program, they know this. I will not do condo doc review for people. I can, but from a legal perspective, I am not technically qualified or have the certifications to do that. Yeah. And I don't like to tell someone that it's good and then something crazy happens and they're like, Wayne told me it was a good idea to buy this. I'm not going to put myself in that position. But I can teach you how to do it yourself. I can teach you how to review it. And our students in the REI Masters Mentorship Program know this. I'm not about telling you, I'm about teaching you, right? I tell people a lot of things. I leave some pretty big breadcrumbs, but ultimately, I don't want to tell you because if I have to keep telling you, then you're always going to keep coming back to me. And yeah, it's a great business model. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm the only one with the answers and you have to pay me to get the answers, I mean, it's a terrific business model. I've got reoccurring clients continuously forever. But what I'd rather do is get you in a position where you can think for yourself, think like me, be curious, find the answers yourself. And most people just don't know how to find the answers. So if I could teach you how to find the answers and figure it out for yourself, then you can become independent. You're not constantly waiting. Wayne, what's the next big real estate investing opportunity? Townhouses don't work anymore. What's next? Please tell me, please. I'll pay you. Well, how about you just go figure it out for yourself? How about you pay me to teach you instead how to spot these opportunities for yourself, how to do your own proper diligence? That's what I'd rather do, right?
Yeah. In the comments here, Kyla says, such an important topic. I know to always hire a condo doc reviewer, but being a part of the REI Masters, I'm definitely more confident in what to watch for before a full review is done. Yeah. And we're so happy to know that that's what we're providing.
Yeah, and what we typically do is we tell our students to get a condo doc review done and then bring your condo doc review to our weekly coaching sessions. Yeah. And so this way, once you've got it, we want our students to review the condo documents yourself, then hire a company to review it, and then bring the notes from the condo doc review company and your notes, and we can help you go through them. We'll go through your findings. We'll figure out what you found. If you have any questions about what this means or what that means, so that way you have a good full understanding of it. Again, it's going to teach you how to go through it. It's going to teach you how to, spot different things. So that way you don't need me or Gabby every single time anymore. And most of our students, they don't need us anymore, right? Most of our students know how to look for things like that, or know how to go through their home inspection reports as well. Yeah. Right? A lot of this, it's all scary the first time, but once you know what you're looking for, it's really simple.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another question, guys. We have another question that came in by email. And if you guys have any questions you want us to answer, we provide free coaching for real estate investors every weekday morning at 7 a.m. on YouTube. You can join us on YouTube. Just look up Wayne Hillier on YouTube. The Canadian Real Estate Investing Morning Show is live there at 7 a.m. Or you can send your questions in by email. And email is info@reimorningshow.com. This investor sent their question in by email. What they want to know is, well, I'll just read the email. Hi, I'm picking the brains of other landlords about if you had to choose in a basement suite that was 500 square feet. I think I missed the part that said 500 square feet. It might change my answer now. If you had a 500 square foot basement suite, would you rather have option A, 2 small bedrooms with a small living area and kitchen space, or option B, 1 big primary bedroom, making the rest more spacious? What would you think would be more beneficial and easier to rent? We got to start with the big issue here. The big issue. 500 square feet.
Yes.
Is that even legal? Like, is that even big enough for a legal bedroom?
Yes.
What's the minimum? Is there?
I don't think there is a minimum. I think as long as you have all components that, I don't know, maybe there is. I'm talking out of my butt now because I don't know that for sure. You see the words coming out?
Yeah, I was just looking.
They're flying away.
There's a GIF.
Anyways, I have no idea if there's any legal
500 square feet.
But
500 square feet is quite small.
It's small. It's small. So this tells me.
So let's just say this: our garden suite, the garden suites that we're building, the multi-unit garden suites that we're building at Edmonton, are approximately 640 square feet. So for those of you guys that went out to the Edmonton Real Estate Investing Bus Tour with us, hosted by REI Masters a few weekends ago, those are 640 square feet. You seen any of the pictures that I post online? And we were in a position with those ones where we had the option for 2 bedrooms. And we had the exact same question. Should we go with 2 bedrooms or should we go with a decent sized bedroom and a larger living area, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, when we're talking about square footage, this is really important to figure out because, I mean, I'd like to see the drawings on fitting 2 bedrooms into a space like that because I think, well, there's a comment here. It says closet, ... That's what the bedrooms would probably feel like is closets, really. I can't see how that would actually work. So my answer is going to be relatively simple here that I think your only option is 1 bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, even our smallest basement suite, I think is bigger than 500 square feet.
I think so too.
I'd have to measure it. It's a weird shape. So I never actually truly measured it, but, I think you're right. I don't even think it's possible to get 2 bedrooms. I think about like the difference between 640 square feet and 500 square feet. That's a 14 by 10 room.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
How big are most rooms? Like 9 by 9 or 10 by 10?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have 2 bedrooms, a hallway, and a kitchen. A small kitchen.
Yeah, and you also, another thing that needs to be taken into account is configuration, because when we're talking about basement suites, there's a whole bunch of things that happen. A staircase coming down.
Yeah.
You have a mechanical room that has
Where are?
furnaces and electrical panels and all that kind of stuff. Where is that situated, right? If it's tucked into a nice tidy corner, that's great, but that's not typically the case. It usually comes out and makes it so that you need to work around an area. So maybe you have like a bathroom tucked in behind, you know what I mean? It's not just like you end up with this perfect box that you get to work with.
Yeah.
And yeah, so where
are you putting your in-suite laundry?
Yeah, where's laundry going?
Yeah.
So I think it just makes this a really easy question to kind of answer, is that you really only have space for 1 bedroom. I think at the square footage also, you'll see a lot of suites that are actually just bachelors.
Yep.
Where there isn't a contained bedroom. You just kind of have everything open to each other with hopefully a nook or something, popped in where it's allocated for like a bed to be.
Yeah.
And obviously a closet, which is a requirement. But at that square footage, that's what I would be thinking is, are we in a bachelor situation or can we get a bedroom in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can change this up just to close out today's show and just let's assume that this was a larger square footage.
Okay.
Perhaps this...
How would our answer change?
Yeah, perhaps this listener... just wrote 500 just as a number, but they were more concerned about the debate, whether it's better to have 2 bedrooms with a small living area or 1 big bedroom or 1 decent sized bedroom with a larger living area. I have opinions about basement suites, and it really ties to, and I know you do as well, Gabby, tenant profile.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So tenant profile is incredibly important. You have to think about who it is that you're trying to attract here. And if you remove 1 bedroom, it does remove the potential for people who are looking for 2 bedrooms, right? So you do have to consider that. If someone is looking for 2 bedrooms and you only have 1, then you will not be on their search. You won't even, if they check off 2 bedrooms minimum and then their price range or their budget, you wouldn't even make it on their search.
Yeah.
So you do have to consider that. But the question is that, in my opinion, revolves around, is there anyone actually looking for a 2-bedroom basement suite?
Or you see when people get so excited that they were able to fit 3 bedrooms because it was such a huge square footage, they could fit 3 bedrooms into the basement. Isn't that amazing?
That means I'm going to get so much more rent. This is what I hear. This is what we hear people saying is that, I want 2 bedrooms. That way I can charge more rent. Yeah. But the question is anyone actually looking for it?
Well, is anyone looking for it? But I think the more important question, and where my brain goes automatically, is do I want a situation where I have that many people in a basement suite where there's people living on a main floor suite, and now I have an entire family with maybe 3-4 kids, or I have 2 couples and one of them has a kid and they're all looking to bunk together.
Yeah.
Do I want that?
You mean the
answer,
dynamic between the two relationships between
it's
the tenants?
causing so many. There's so many people living under one roof. We thought we had problems before when there was just maybe a couple in the basement and a small family upstairs, and they were getting on each other's nerves. Now imagine having 6 people in the basement and 5 people upstairs.
Yeah.
And what kind of issues that's going to cause. So I just think from a what is my tenant profile perspective, I love a good 1-bedroom basement suite that's going to attract a young couple or a mature single person who just needs, a smaller space to live in. Or maybe it's a single parent with 1 kid.
Yeah.
I like, so 1 bedroom is
I
ideal
honestly
for my
don't
tenant
like,
profile.
I don't like the kid downstairs.
I don't either. But 1 bedroom is more ideal because I'm more looking for like a young couple.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my desired tenant profile for basement suites. But if it does have 2 bedrooms, which we do have basement suites that have 2 bedrooms, all that opens up really for me is that maybe it's like we've had lots of situations where it's like siblings are moving in together.
Yeah.
Or, that type of situation where they do need the 2 bedrooms, but it's still just 2 young professionals.
Yeah.
So I like one bedroom with a good sized living space is my preference.
Considering the fact that I lean heavy towards young, like a couple, young or old, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or a single person. Or a single person. Because of that, the question is, does that tenant profile that I am actually trying to attract, that's my decision. I bought this property with this particular unit is designed specifically with looking for either a couple or a single person. That's who I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anyone else. I'm not trying to attract anyone else.
Yeah.
If I had my own criteria that I could check on a box, it would say couple or single person. And I put it out there. Why would I add a second bedroom?
Right.
Does my tenant profile, the people that I'm trying to attract, do they see value in that second bedroom? Or would they rather have a bigger living space? Do they want a wall between their living area? Is that a place that they're actually going to spend any time?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps maybe they work from home and they need a little designated area. But the question is, do they want a wall separating that designated area, or would they appreciate more light traveling through the space?
Right.
If I want someone to stay a long time, we've lived in a basement suite before. It had a lot of walls. It had 2 bedrooms. You remember that, Gabby?
It was dark.
The living room was in a bedroom.
Yeah.
It was fucking dark.
Yeah.
Gabby hated it.
Yeah.
That winter was one of the worst winters we ever had living in that. And I think that if that wall wasn't there for that second bedroom, I think it probably would have felt a lot more big and spacious.
Probably,
that
yeah.
whole area, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, would have been completely wide open.
Yeah.
It would have had so much more light.
Yeah.
But they put a wall in there. I don't know why. They put a door. It made no sense. So I think for the people that we're trying to attract, they would appreciate a bigger living space. And if they wanted to have a little desk or tucked off in the side, that's fine. But at least it flowed nicely and they had a more natural light, which is a big issue with basement suites.
Yeah.
So, you can charge more rent, but is a single person, is our tenant profile, is our demographic willing to pay an extra $100 or $200 a month for it? Or would they prefer a more open space for less?
Mm.
I'm a big fan of 1 bedrooms, even with our garden suites, which are above ground, which have more natural light. We had the option of closing off so it's a rectangle at the back. There's a bedroom on the back end, and then beside it is a living area. And we had the option to put up another wall there and put a second bedroom. And then it would have just been a very small living area between the kitchen and the 2 bedrooms in that rectangle. So it could have had a couch and a small little table or something like that. Would have been very tight. And yes, we probably could have, based off our market rent appraisal, probably could have got an extra $100, maybe $150, which would have increased the value of the property. significantly. But when we thought about it, we're like, who's going to rent this? Who's looking for a 2-bedroom?
And who do we want to put in there?
And who do we want to put in there? And we thought about it, and we had the exact same tenant profile that we have for our basement suites, which is a single person or a couple.
Yeah.
We see them as staying longer than a single mom with a kid. And we see everyone else in that property staying a lot longer if there wasn't a single mom
And a kid.
and a kid. So it's not just about them staying longer, but everybody else staying longer, because sometimes that kid or that single mom that keeps yelling at her kid can affect how long other people stay as well.
If these aren't things that you're thinking about when you are purchasing or building or whatever you're doing, you need to stop and you need to actually have these conversations. You need to think about these things, because like this is all strategy that needs to be taken into account in your portfolio.
Just little things that you pick up along the way. And then once you establish these systems, right? These are just little systems, right? This is our system. This is our tenant profile. Once you establish these things and make a decision, the micro decisions that you make every day in your business get a whole lot easier. Gabby and I don't need to talk anymore about things like this because we already know. These are systems that we put in place. And you're like, oh, that sounds really, that's pretty fucking simple. I was really expecting you to give me something really cool and amazing and exciting. No,
we didn't even need to talk about it beforehand. We knew that we both were on the same page with the answer.
We've done over 1,200 episodes, and we don't prep this show at all because we are so on the same page about everything in our business. That's what makes all of these crazy days so easy, is because we know exactly what the answer is before it even happens. Yeah. We don't get scared about all the what ifs and the tenants trashing the place and this and that and what if it sits empty, etc. Because we know the answers ahead of time, right? And if you set up the right systems, it makes this business a whole lot easier. So that's our system. That's how we do it. Set up your systems, right? You can agree with ours or you can create your own, right? But ultimately, to answer the question, for us, we think one big primary bedroom is best, right? That wraps up today's show, guys. On tomorrow's show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading another email from a 28-year-old single professional, new immigrant to Canada. He's been living in Edmonton for about a year. Works in IT, has an annual salary of about $80,000, and has managed to save $40,000 so far.
That's a lot of money.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Recently spoke with his bank regarding a first home mortgage, and the current approval capacity is about $335,000. Wants to start their real estate investing journey and is looking for tips on making their first move. Tomorrow's show, we're going to dive into that. We'll see you guys then.
Thanks for listening. Want to be coached personally by Wayne and Gabby? Then you should join the Real Estate Investing Masters Mentorship Program. Details are in the show notes to get started.